causes an issue because your lead screw is not straight. And I know that my lead screws are pretty straight, but two of them have got a little bit of a wobble in them. Because when I roll them across my work surface, they kind of go wah wah.
Oh, it's common. It's a common thing, you know. I mean, I've heard people say that the best solution is to just get those Z shafts built into the motors because you probably don't have that much problem with, you know, when it's all integrated.
Yeah. Um, and the thing is, the ones that have got the Z built into the motor, one of the things that they have going for them is that those have some kind of thrust bearing built into the motor at that point, and they're spec'd for a certain amount um, of mass of, of weight on those or force in that direction. So um,
Interesting to know that they have a different bearing. Because see, it's interesting. This is why I like hanging out with you people because I could have never got that from the internet. I just get that from people that I know.
yeah, so that motor is going to have axial bearings in it, or
Yep.
it's going to have bearings that are designed for you know axial loads,
Right.
um, whereas your other ones aren't going to necessarily have that. So I have notoriously I have big fingers and pretty bad arthritis at the moment. So sometimes working these screws into the little holes is a pain.
So when you say these things aren't designed for an axial load, I mean they can take obviously they can take 1 gram.
Yeah.
What do we really mean?
I mean, so how much thrust are you putting? Mostly you're lifting the weight of your bed, right? Or in this case, you're lifting a third of the weight of the bed. And then you're going to be lifting whatever print is on the bed,
Hmm.
right? And Billy, and what happens if, and so really is what we're talking about, right? So it's
So I mean,
not
what are we talking about? 200 grams? 200? You're saying 200 grams of damage to the motor? Basically, is that what you're saying?
not necessarily in this particular case, but it's probably more than 200 grams because I mean I've got I don't know how heavy my bed is. I've got a mix six bed plate with a bunch of motors, a bunch of magnets in it, and it's also going to have you know a bunch of magnets in that. It's got a heater on it. It's going to have and then an insulator on the bottom of the heater. I mean, I've probably got I don't know. I'll have to weigh it out because I really don't know what it is right now.
I mean, so if it was 400 grams, then you'd have 1,200 gram bed, basically.
Yeah,
Or okay,
a couple of pounds. That's like figure a couple of pounds.
yeah. So I
Um,
mean, so basically, what you're saying is that 400 grams that would over time that could damage your motor.
it depends on the motor rating, right?
Yeah.
Some motors have the thrust bearings in the motor. Some
Yep.
motors just just have ball bearings, right? So they're only designed for radial loads. So you got to look at the motor.
Yeah.
The motors with the integrated lead screws. If you look at the data sheet, it'll tell you what its load values are, its load specs are.
It probably tip. So you're saying if it has the integrated thrust bearing, that'd probably be more like 1 pound.
It may be 5 kilograms even, depending on the motor.
Okay.
Yeah, so it really depends on the motor. But yeah, you're going to have so and like I said, yeah, you could probably, I mean, the Creality stuff. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Andrews and CR tabs, um, but they don't have. They just have a spiral cut coupler, so it's essentially a hard coupler that's got a little bit of angular deflection on it. It's on the low end, but there you go.
Cool.
And it works. People get a lot of good things out of these. I mean, I've got 200 fees, 205.
By the way, I did figure out what my heating issue was.
What was your heating issue? I'm intrigued.
It was actually kind of dumb.
Okay.
So even after tuning, like I tuned the nozzles, but or the heaters using the new method. I did the one last night and I did the other one today, and then it still failed. So then I'm thinking about it, and I remember watching the print, and then when the print fan turned on, I watched, the nozzle or the heater drop several degrees, like right off the bat.
Oh no.
So, and generally it would just pick right back up again and continue printing, which is why I haven't had any issues with any of my prints when using a single nozzle. Well, it seems that with a dual nozzle setup, for some reason the way the air funnels into the dock, because the print fans stay running in the dock. So it basically I think it was like blowing air up into the heater, which caused it to cool rapidly and cause the heater fault.
That would do it.
So then I did a print with no fan at all, and that worked fine. And right now I'm limiting the fan to about 40. See, the downside is, like in the GCode that gets sent out by like Prusa, they only turn the fan on, and then they never issue the command again. Like, it would be great if they would issue the fan speed command every time it picked up the tool. But it doesn't do that, so... Oh, shoot. It only does it the one time. And, sorry.
That's okay.
Anyway, it only does it the one time, so if you turn the fan off as part of the T-free script, it doesn't turn it back on when it picks the tool up.
Got it. Well, that can cause problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll post a picture of the model I designed. Give me 1 second.
So, those little white parts that I had in the picture were my rail alignment tool. And it's the one, I made them for the Z, but I think what I can do is trim off the little tabs at the bottom. And use them for I like that.
What?
So, yeah, I can just draw.
No, that's the little test print I designed.
gonna get back over to Discord.
What's that? You broke up there.
I've been looking at the instructions, not at the Discord.
Yeah, just to kind of test the alignment.
Okay, did you put the new steppers on already?
No, I will do that after. Oh shoot, I need to make the cables still. That was why I didn't do it already, because I was in the process of making the cables. I was being mesmerized by the printing.
It happened. I probably need to step away for a moment. So, I can get them to snap on. And I need to find a nut driver for the M3 lock nut.
Gotcha. What do I think about what?
The alignment guides, the rail alignment guides.
Yeah, I think I posted a comment in there. I like them.
Oh, I didn't see it. Sorry. I've been building. So my details at this point.
What is that? Your iPad that you have in the background on the bed?
Yeah.
Or whatever that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I see.
Sitting inside so I can.
Yeah, I see it now. I was. The reflectiveness of that plate is deceptive if you don't look twice.
Yeah, it is very shiny. Very shiny.
Yeah, I tweaked the tool changing scripts to get the speeds a little bit quicker.
Okay.
Like I move max speed to the dock and out of the dock. Well, I come out, cross the rubber, and then I do a full speed move.
Okay.
I didn't really want to zoom across the piece of rubber at 200 millimeters a second. So.
No. Are you doing like a back and forth across it a couple of times, or just once?
I tried it both ways, and once seems sufficient. So.
Okay.
There might be an edge case once in a while that doesn't pop off like it's supposed to, but I had one going back and forth, and I had the other one just doing a single pass for a couple prints, and
okay.
The one doing single passes seemed to work just fine. So. shouldn't take me too terribly long to get these cables made up. I've already put the connectors on them, and it'll just be doing the heat shrink tube.
Got it. Yeah, my next big step is to do the wiring or the cable for the toolbox. Because Josh wanted to talk about constraints on the V-shaft.
You wanted to do what?
Josh wanted to talk a little bit about the constraints on the V-shaft.
Constraints on the what at?
On the V screw.
Oh. Okay.
So we were talking about those the constraints, and then whether the bushing is an issue. So essentially, what I'm doing is I'm fixing it. We have to open it up.
Yeah, I really am highly skeptical that we need to worry. Huh?
It's probably not.
I kind of feel like Josh was a bit right. Like if we were doing something like a milling or something with this thing, then it might be more important.
And that's one of the things is like if we were going to do if we wanted to make it so that it's a general purpose machine, then.
Yeah, but look at the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. They tried to make a plane that was identical for all three branches of the military, and it became three separate planes anyway.
Well, that's because they've got different missions.
Exactly.
I mean, are we building a 3D printer, or are we building a general tool?
Well, that's what I'm kind of getting at, is this might be good for a variant if you wanted like a heavy load machine, for example, or a heavier load machine. But I don't think it necessarily should be the main branch. Not saying it shouldn't, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Entirely so.
In fact, I wonder if it wouldn't be smarter just to find some stepper motors with the thrust bearing built.
Well, the thing is, you still need to not compress the coupling. Because right now we're compressing the coupling. We're taking the coupling to its hard stop, and then transferring all the through the coupling. So even if you had an integrated screw with no coupling at all, right? If you're gonna do that, use an integrated screw, all you have is you don't do anything else with it.
I have one weird phenomenon that keeps happening. And
you said the word.
What?
You said that word.
Phenomenon?
Phenomenon. Phenomenon.
That's phenomenon, not phenomenon.
Over Discord it sounds the same.
Fair enough, I guess.
Somebody laughed.
Oh, it was good. It was good.
I bet you I can put a Muppet in your head with one word. Phenomenon. I got plastic baggies everywhere. So many packages. I'm actually taking a moment to pick up some of the cardboard. So Eric, I dropped my electric screwdriver.
Did it break?
Yeah. I dropped it and it landed straight down, and now whatever clutch or whatever mechanism that causes it to turn, now it's mostly just a loud black. So I'm gonna pop it apart and see if I just knocked the gear loose or something. But I dropped it right off the top of the table and it landed straight down on top of the working end.
Well, that's a bummer.
It's all plastic. There's nothing in there.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing in there worth saving.
$40. It makes it, always, if I pop it apart, at least I can see how it works, right?
That's true. I mean, there's a guy on YouTube that does that.
Yeah, but he's usually drinking heavily at the time.
Is that his secret? Is that why he curses?
Yeah. And the farther you get, the longer you get into a particular video,
What guy are you talking about?
What I'm talking about. There's only one guy.
You know what I'm talking about. He like.
There's only one guy that curses and takes apart power tools.
Yeah. Takes apart a Dyson. Takes apart a.
I honestly have no idea who you're talking about.
It's AVE.
AVE.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, Bolter without the E. So he's got a series called Bolter. So if you look up AVE Bolter, it's him taking apart drills.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, you could sum it up like that, and he could tell you all about. He's like, oh, if you got hydraulic oil on your hands, and you got butyl rubber on your overmold, he said that shit's gonna fail.
Yeah.
And so, like, I actually told my chemistry teacher, I said, did you know? Because she had something rubber in the lab, and I said, what kind of rubber? Because it's going over safety and lab equipment. And I said, okay, well, that's rubber. What kind of rubber is it? I don't know. And I was like, well, you have MSDS for all the chemicals that we're using. You know what the goggles are made out of. You know that they're impact rated, but you don't know what kind of rubber. You're asking me to stick this tool in chemicals, and it's made of rubber, and I don't. She's like, well, why do you want to know what kind of rubber it is? I was like, because, like if it's butyl and we're working with whatever, I was like, every rubber has a solvent, basically.
Yep, pretty much.
And I'm like, I just want to know if it's safe in every situation or what I should be careful of or what. And so then I was like, look, butyl rubber. And she's like, what rubber is getting eaten up? And I was like, the butyl rubber with the oils. And then so I taught my chemistry teacher something.
Cool.
Not that I was trying to, but.
It happens. I about got thrown out of an electronics course.
Oh, I want to hear this one.
So I went back to school after I got out of the Navy, and I said, you know what, I'll go back to school, because I'd been working for a while, and then I got laid off. But it was one of those, hey, we've got a new contractor, we can save some money by firing all the guys who've been here, kind of thing, right?
Yep.
So they laid us all off, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go back to school, and I'll finally get a degree in something. Because I still don't have a degree, but, it's a thing.
I'm going through that right now. That's why I got laid off and I went back to school, long story short. But yeah, go ahead.
So here I am, 40-something, a Navy career. Kids are already moved out of the house for the most part. And I go back to school and I have to take basic electronics. Basic electricity.
Oh, I know, right?
You
probably got to take it, and you probably have a professor that barely knows what they're doing.
Well, the professor was like, my kids are old. Two of my kids were older than me.
Yeah.
And the third was the same age. So there you go. So we're doing this, and he's going over lab safety and things like that because we're doing labs, right?
Yeah.
and and I didn't call him out in class. I didn't correct him in class because I'm better than that. But I did talk to him afterwards. Like, listen, the way you're doing lab safety is they're not gonna get it. You're gonna kill something. I know this is. I don't know how many years you've been. The way you're describing it, they're not gonna take you seriously. And they're gonna get somebody killed. And he's like, I know what I'm doing. It's like, all right. And it was one of those basic electrical courses, so DC circuits, right? And I was like, all right, I'll show up to the class because I tried to. They wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me challenge it. I tried to.
They wouldn't let you test out of the class.
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, okay. So when I transferred in with credit. So I transferred in with enough credits for a bachelor, but they were going to make me take another like 60 credits worth of basically general ed stuff, before maybe not 60, like another 15 credits of general ed stuff before I could even go into what my majors were. And I was doing a double major in computer engineering, technology, and special education. Because what I was working on was expert systems for learning disabled, using COTS.
So like ADD or?
Autistic, more like a autistic communication challenge thing, but systems that were using commercial off-the-shelf technologies that would adapt to the students rather than forcing the students to adapt to them.
By the way, I really applaud your efforts because I have Asperger's and ADD myself, and though I've through the years of, it's taken me a lifetime to essentially master how well I hide, I hide those things from people because I've, trained myself to whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You can teach yourself social skills even if you don't have it intuitively. So I've done that. But
so
I applaud your efforts. I think it's a great thing that you're doing.
I didn't work with me here because they didn't get that far in it. So there was one of these electrical courses, and I kept showing up, and we did a test every Friday, a quiz every Friday, and then you'd go over the course on Monday. By the time I did the second one, it's like, you know what? I don't need a calculator for this stuff. So I brought my slide rule into class and was doing the quizzes with a slide rule. And I got lots of dirty looks about that because I usually finish about 10 minutes after we started and then walk out. And then he stopped counting my score towards the other one, I could teach the course, let's put it that way.
Yeah, of course.
And then I had to go back and take a technical writing course. They wouldn't let me test out of it. I was a technical writer. Our tech manual here. So yeah, I was kind of frustrated with the whole higher education system.
Dude, I'm going through this right now because, I was computer programmer since I was 13, 14 years old, right? And when I finally got, and I took programming classes all through high school because my high school had computer programming all 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Fine, great. So I walk into college on day one to be a computer programmer. They said, you cannot test out of this class. You cannot skip this class. It's absolutely required you take Introduction to Computers. Introduction to Computers was the first class we get there. The guy holds up a computer mouse in front of the class. He goes, this is a mouse. And I said, can I leave? And he says, well, I have to fail you. And I was like, I can't take it. No. So it made me wasted 6 months with that class. Okay, fine. The second class I took for the next semester of my first year was programming concepts. Okay. Now at that time, the curriculum for programming concepts was drawing flowcharts. But the teacher that they got to teach the class was teaching it from the textbook, and she had never written a piece of software ever before in her life. So she's literally standing in front of the class and reading the textbook aloud. and then she would draw a flow chart on the blackboard, and it would have a infinite loop.
So you're doing, I mean, I understand for sequential programming, but it doesn't really work that way with object-oriented, which is pretty much where everybody's at and has.
Well, you know, this is 2001. So 2001, I'm fresh out of high school, right?
Okay.
Going to college, and she's like making mistakes all over the place, and I basically, like, I could teach that class, but I failed that class and essentially told the school to fuck off, and I basically dropped out of school because I told her, hey, you're teaching people the wrong thing. Like you're not just screwing yourself, you're screwing the 30 people in this class because they actually won't. You're literally teaching them how to write a program with an infinite loop, or a program that doesn't start, or a program that crashes, or a program that only works for the given inputs in the example. So I don't know what you're doing. Like, you're screwing these 30 students in your class. It's like, you know, if you want me to talk to you after class is fine, but like, at some point you need to self-correct and you need to start teaching the class, like, or, you know, or admit that you can't, or something. I don't know, like, something's got to change. So what did she do? She gave me an F, and I basically told the school to fuck off, and I dropped out. So 20 years later, I go back, right? Introduction. So now they're like, okay, well, you already took Introduction to Computers, but you still have to take Programming Concepts. And I'm like, okay. I bit my tongue. I was like, all right, let me just see what it is. Whatever. Even if it's flowcharts, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll take it. Fine. I go there, and they're teaching us Python, right? Okay. But the professor doesn't speak English. Bravo. Round of applause. 20 years has gone by. I come back to the same school because it's cheap, because it's community college, and the fucking teacher doesn't speak English. And he's talking about technical subjects, and he's conflating words that they're almost the same word, but they're completely not the same word. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so now all his students are going to conflate this word with that word, and it's completely different meaning, and it's completely different word.
That's interesting. I started
So
programming
I got a
12.
D, right? I got a D in that class, and so then the programming class I took after that, and by the way, I wrote perfect programs in that class. The tests weren't in English. The next class I took, my programming teacher was like, fuck, your programs are amazing, they're perfect. Like, I can't find a single thing wrong with your programs. It's almost like you perfected them before you handed them in. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. And I'm getting an A in that class. So yeah, I'm like, I feel your pain, and I 100% agree. There's something wrong with schools.
Well, the thing is, you don't need to go to a college unless you want a certificate anymore, because, you know, MIT, Stanford, and about half a dozen other major offer the entire curriculum online, and you can basically audit any course they offer. And if you're not taking a course every week or month, why not? It doesn't cost you anything except time, right? I mean, I'm taking courses. I mean, I one of the best courses I did take was the a philosophy course, Introduction to Logic.
Yep.
And I was like, this is amazing. And then I went on and took a rhetoric course. And why are we not teaching this stuff? Why is this not requirements?
If we taught logic in schools, the whole political system would fall apart.
Oh, you mean like what Jefferson wanted schools to be? Why he developed the entire design, the public education system the way he did, and then it got this almost immediately.
Interesting.
Sorry.
Wasn't it the Carnegies or somebody that got involved in the American education system at some point?
I don't know where that was. I know the Carnegie they built over. But I think they actually wanted an educated workforce because they thought it was important for their. I mean, they wanted.
And the other one was Standard Oil that
yeah.
basically changed the American education system.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's one of those things. Those are M4s.
So what happened? You never got to make the software because you didn't get hired, or you got fired, or what happened?
I got cold called by Apple,
Hmm?
and they asked me to come work for them.
Oh.
And they
Cool.
offered me a reasonable wage, and so I went and opened an Apple store as a lead genius. So I was a service manager at Apple for years, and then I pissed off a middle-level manager. Not very good. I'm not very good at truth to power. You know, it's like we need they come.
You're just like me. It's like you're just gonna just like honest like you never did anybody a favor by not telling them the truth. Like you honestly want to see things change. Like you want to see change and you want to see things get better. So like you're gonna tell the truth so that they can get better. Right? Isn't that right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, part of my Navy thing was, you know, you can make a mistake, but never hide it. Integrity was a huge thing, right? You're allowed. I mean, I'm not saying it's you know, a good idea, but you're allowed to make an honest mistake, but don't try to hide it, right? So yeah, I got into a pissing match with the middle level, the district manager, and a truth to power sort of thing. It's like everybody needs to be above average, and it's like the fundamental flaw with that statement. You give us goals and targets. You meet every single one of your goals, but you're not in the top 10%. It's like everybody can't be in the top 10%. And oh, by the way, I'm running an 8-person shop with 6 people, right? And we're
that's how it was. You know, that's how it was when I worked retail, because the only way they had to get the best salespeople they could get for minimum wage, and the only way they could do it was by constantly culling and constantly hiring.
Yeah, the thing is, I was in the service department, and for whatever reason, corporate. And the thing is, this wasn't even a corporate problem; it was a issue because corporate understood. The Genius Bar, the service department, is not a problem, right? We are not a profit center, and unfortunately, the early days of Apple retail, so they were still trying to figure out, you know, where to hire the right people to run the stores. So we guys from big box stores, right? We're getting management who came from big box. They were all.
So they would be like headhunters for like the Best Buy manager.
Yeah, or you know, the Gap, or Old Navy. Yeah. You know, some really high sales-driven people, but we didn't have a lot of people who understood how service.
Oh, I see. So instead of having all service people, no salespeople, they had all salespeople, no service people.
Yeah, well, I was the service. So the biggest thing, it was hard to explain to a lot of people, but as a genius at an Apple store, our job is not to fix computers. It really is. It's not to fix iPhones, it's not to fix computers, it's not to fix your iPod or whatever, right? The job of a genius is to fix relationships. Because if you're coming to an Apple store with your product and it's not working the way you expect it to, that relationship between Apple and you is gone. And our job was to repair that relationship. And if we fix the computer in the meantime, that was great. But you know, one of the things I really pushed my guys to understand is your job here is to repair that relationship. And again, this was in the early days, and we were still handling a lot of service calls on a weekly basis, especially during like college time. And so students would go home for the summer, and the last week before school starts, everybody brought their computers in to get work done. Right. It's like, really? So yeah, but we would occasionally get somebody from management from the corporate side who would come in and understand what we're doing, but the regionals were all pushing like turnaround times and repair, you know, how long does it take to do a repair? And again, we were meeting all of our numbers. And if you weighted it by the number of people we actually had working, because we had people on FMLA, or we had somebody out sick, so we could get a replacement. And so we just kept keeping on. Now, again. And so if you weighted our averages against the number of staff we had, we were typically 130 to 140% utilized, and hitting 130 to 140 efficiency. But you couldn't. So if you took our allowed head count, we were in the 85th percentile. Which, we were still meeting all of it. We were hitting all the metrics. We were in the 85th percentile. Bad on us.
You know the worst thing about big box retail, large corporations is they have a tendency to shuffle the middle management. The upper management is like 2 or 3 year ride, but the middle management is like 6 months to a year, and they're constantly they're like, oh, let's just fire everybody in this department and put their jobs in this other department. No, actually, that was a big mistake. They're like, let's make a new department. And then let's consolidate. So they're constantly consolidating a department or changing job descriptions, job roles, and then they're, oh, well, let's have a new wave of hiring. And sometimes they'll hire somebody in upper management, top level management, who's like 23 years old, master's degree, and they're like so proud. They're like, oh, we got this amazing CFO. He's amazing. And the CFO comes in. He's like, yeah, they're just gonna change all the payroll software. We're gonna change all the analytics software, and tell programming to get on that. And then, you know what I mean? It's like constantly, like, whatever metric is important today, 6 months from now, it'll be something, not even 6 months from now, maybe a month from now. All right, so I worked at Guitar Center, and they got a new, they contracted with a marketing firm, right? And they said, how do we retain more customers, how do we acquire customers, and how do we retain more customers, and how do we drive sales? Okay, basically, obviously the big three. And this outside firm that they hired told them, well, you need to capture 100% of the email addresses that are coming in, because we've found through our independent research and in our triple blind studies, we've found this to be absolutely 100% true 100% of the time, no matter what your business model, that 90% of the people who buy products in your store did it because did it right after they got an email from you.
What?
And,
no way.
Or something crazy. It was something like, oh, you'll have a 90% success rate. They weren't even applying statistics correctly. They were like, of the people that made purchases, 90% of them had received an email in the past 30 days before they made a purchase. So they're basically saying correlation equals causation. So they're saying that people only buy stuff in the store if you spam the shit out of their email address.
Oh, if you spam me, I stop shopping.
Exactly. So they were like, okay, we're going to start spamming people. We're going to start cold calling people. We're going to hit them up by email. We're going to hit them up by their cell phone, text message. We're going to fucking bombard these people until we're going to harass them basically at least once a month by email and once a month by phone until they basically come in just to stop the harassment. And he says, and then we're like, well, how are we going to do that if we don't have anybody's email address? He's like, I'm glad you asked, because we're actually going to harass them to give us their email. And, well, how are we going to do that? What if they don't want to give us their email? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of create this false narrative that implies that we can't sell them anything unless they absolutely give us our email. That's a valid email, not a fake burner email. So now I got customers basically telling customers, I'm at the register, spend an hour selling, a DJ system, whatever. And I'm at the register basically telling this person, okay, and what's your email? No, I'm not giving you my email. Well, you know, I have to build a file on you before I can sell you something. Well, I don't want you to build a file on me. I just want to pay for it and I want to leave. And it's like, well, I can't cash you out because you're not in the computer, so I can't even build a sales ticket for you yet. So we got to build a file. And they're like, but why? But can you build a file without an email? Well, no, they actually modified the computer system so that if I leave that field blank, it actually won't go to the next screen. So like, the programmers did what they were told. You know, the salespeople did what they were told, and because the upper management put all their faith in this outside consultant, they literally, whatever freaking customers we have, like, goodbye.
Yeah, it's like, well, then I guess we're done.
Yeah, it's like we're literally out of business now because, like, I had customers that I had for over a year, and customers were like, what happened to you? You used to be nice to me. And it's like, look, I still care about you. I care about my job too, so I'm sorry, but like, the treatment that you're getting is what I'm supposed to do to keep my job. Sorry.
Let me talk to your manager. Hey, he's
yeah,
great.
and the manager would straight up back us up. He'd be like, yes, I told him to harass you for your email address.
Okay, well, we're done. Goodbye.
Yeah, like, no, that was basically what happened. And, yeah, it's typical. It's a meat grinder. They're constantly firing people. Because think about it, if you hire more people than you need and you fire the bottom 10% of sales, you fire the worst performing salespeople, your sales numbers will increase.
At some point,
Part of that formula requires hiring more people than you need and firing people for no reason. Like,
yeah,
it's a meat grinder. It's a meat grinder.
Until people stop coming into stop applying.
Oh, exactly, because none of those companies have any longevity. Same companies that stop doing R&D, the same companies that stop providing value.
What did I do with that tray? I am setting up my workspace for the next task, and I have misplaced a tray of screws. It's dry orange.
You know, Brian, you should really stop trying to emulate me.
That's all right. It's probably in the other room.
He watched me put together my Jubilee over the course of a month or two, losing things all the time. You'd think he'd learn not to do what I do.
It's not that bad. Actually, I think I know where it is. It's in the other room.
Funny thing is, I'm searching for something right now myself.
Well, don't you just have like 100 pack of every screw in the world?
I do, pretty much.
Yeah, but if you misplace the 100 pack, what are you going to do?
Oh.
That's all right. I've got them in Stanley trays with labels on labels in every pocket. But I'm also, for whatever reason, I've got one pocket. One of the little inserts is currently missing, and it's not supposed to, but it is. Okay, so that is. So that's the part across. Those are the other four. That is a lever. I have to build two Jubilees. Actually, I've got all the parts I need to finish this Jubilee, and I've got about 90% of the parts ready to go, except for...
Well, if you want a carbon fiber crossbar, I can help you out with that.
I have a carbon fiber crossbar. Anybody? I should probably put that up for sale.
Yeah. I have the carbon fiber all built up too, but I'm just like, is anybody really going to want to buy this?
Yeah.
That's why I haven't bothered even listing it.
I mean, I figure if I list it for, a fair amount.
What would be a fair amount, considering it already has all the hardware on it as well?
Well, yours has got the hardware. Put the cost of the hardware, knock 25% off of it. Add up all the cost of the parts for it, and then knock 25% off, and have them pay the.
And by that point, they're going to look at the price and be like, why don't I just buy the aluminum one? I'll probably have to knock a fair bit more than 25%.
Well, I was talking about, you've got all the pulleys and stuff on it too, right?
Yeah. I literally can't take it apart.
It was nice meeting you all. You have to go.
Come on by anytime. We're here most people.
Yeah, you guys are fun. I like you guys. I'm sure I'll see you again. I'm in school, so I might not have time every day to hang out and just.
No worries.
But yeah, I'll when I have time, I'll hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Right.
Bye. Have a great evening.
You too.
Man, I never imagined that I was going to want to swap out a stepper motor at this point. So I don't know what I did with my little adhesive pads for the heat sinks.
Oh.
And so, like, I just took off the stepper motors. And I'm like, oh shoot, I need to apply the heat sinks before I put the new ones on.
Good call.
And for the life of me, I don't know what I did with the adhesive.
I got to jump off. I'm just going to go on mute for a minute. I got to step away. I will be back.
No. Okay.
I just need to go.
I was just playing.
Get a drink, and among other things.
Yeah, I need more water. I already drank all my water.
Good.
Okay, I'm back here in the other room.
Hello.
Hi there.
Is it working?
This is what we're. Can you not hear us?
Well, that didn't work. Let's try again.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. He has
Okay.
this problem from time to time.
Yeah, Discord. So I'm just up here. I got trapped briefly while I was being told that I could not leave by the old man.
He's
Yeah,
talking
sorry
about
to
his
talk
cat.
early.
It's my cat.
Ah,
He's 16, and when he decides he actually wants to be held, I have to sit down and hold him. He's been with me for a
Understand.
long time. He's my bud. But anyway, so I've got a lead. If anybody is anybody looking for an Ender 3 Pro?
Not I.
Okay.
If I were to get a fourth printer, I think I might get disowned.
Okay.
I just started buying parts to build the Jubilee, so
Okay. Well,
Do you want a carbon fiber crossbar?
Yeah. Do you need a carbon fiber crossbar, or are you going to go with the aluminum one?
I was thinking aluminum since I want to do high temperature.
Yeah. Well, all right, fine. We both have carbon fiber crossbars that we got before the aluminum one was ready.
Wasn't even aware the aluminum one was on the docket when I ordered mine, so.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, I'll throw it out there because I've got a line on some Ender 3 Pros, like the one I just got. The price points are pretty reasonable. They're Amazon returns, so
How much?
100 for one. If you want more than one, I've got pricing for that too.
Probably not. I was just curious.
And if we do a group buy, we can get the price low and he can split ship. So he can ship to different places.
Nowhere near ready to start a print farm, so.
Okay.
If I was gonna buy any kind of machine at all, I've got my eyes on the name of it escapes me at the moment, but it's about 250-ish. I think it's less than that, but it's a little CNC mill.
It's a little, which one?
That's a
I've got the
CNC.
volume turned down. Let me fix that. Go ahead. What was that?
Yeah, there's a little CNC mill that I've got
okay.
my eyes on. It's pretty cheap, so. But I've got to finish with my projects that I already have in the works before I start a new one, so. And I would like to probably get some overtime hours again before I start investing in anything else.
Oh, understand that.
Not that I want to be working overtime right now. I'm happy as is for the time being.
Well, that's good.
I spent 4 months of working like 75-hour weeks, so this is
Yeah. I get that.
This is my vacation. And I know that it's going to end soon, so. My company is going to be working on some medical stuff, so no matter what the stay-at-home orders are, I'm probably going to be cleared to go work.
You're going to be making mask making machines, right?
Yeah.
So your company is going to be making mask making machines?
Correct. Yep. That's the
Making what machines?
machines that make medical masks.
Yeah. I think the market is going to get swamped by those, and
Well, right now there's no U.S. supplier, and the only machines that can be had right now are from China, and the lead time on the Chinese machines is quite significant. So there is an opportunity right now, and our company is moving very quickly to get them built. We have partners in China who have the design for the machine already, so we just need to basically Americanize it and produce it. Our CEO has done the research on what the market is, and if we can bring our machines to market quickly enough, we stand to make up for our losses. Some of our contracts got canceled from our customers, so.
right. What do you guys normally make?
Automotive stuff, wheel and tire balancing machines.
Got it.
That's our primary, and then we've started making some other machines too, but it's all in automotive. So this is something that I've been trying to kind of hint at that we needed to do for a long time, and that's do any other industry than automotive.
Yeah. You familiar
Diversify?
with KUKA Robotics?
Exactly. Like the company wanted, it was part of our future plan to diversify. It's just we never got around to actually doing it. What was your question?
Oh, you know who KUKA Robotics is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I work for a subsidiary of them.
Gotcha.
Doing medical robots.
Really?
Yeah,
like
my
Da Vinci lines, or?
Yeah, we do pharmacy automation primarily.
Oh, okay. That's that magical pharmacy machine that does all the counting and dispensing.
Yep. That's what we built. Oh, there's a lot of different vendors in that space, but we got a pretty big line of machines.
Yeah, I don't make anything in my job. Now my company does, but I don't.
Yeah. Well, I'm software architect, so I look at the machines. That's about it.
Yeah. Are we doing, a lot of the stuff in my space is becoming software defined?
Yeah, same. 3 years ago, I got into it with our CEO because he was going on in some meeting, and I was like, okay, so are we a software company or a hardware company? Well, we're a hardware company. It also does software. Okay, so if one of our customers has a different brand of robots and asks to buy our software, you wouldn't sell it. Of course I would sell our software. Well, they're a software company too.
Okay.
So then 2 days later, they had a town hall meeting, and he goes like, "Oh, we're a software and a hardware company." Like, okay, got it.
You know,
And now our software group is by far larger than the hardware group, which is pretty ironic.
I mean, everybody thinks that, like, you know, Microsoft is a software company that does hardware, or has tried to do hardware a number of times. And Apple is a hardware company that makes software that works with their hardware really well.
Well, the Xbox is pretty popular.
What's that?
Said Microsoft's Xbox is pretty popular.
Yeah, but they outsource that, by the way.
So is the Surface, and actually that's not true because I actually know the hardware guy from the Xbox, and he was working directly for Microsoft. Spent a lot of time in China though for parts and stuff, but
Yeah.
the actual design was done in Seattle.
And I've got a Surface Pro. Well, let me say that I have one that doesn't actually work anymore for the original Surface Pro. It was one of the things that once the battery goes in it, you basically toss it.
Right. Yeah, I got the last model. Love it.
Yeah.
I picked up a used Surface Pro 4.
You know, my primary use of that thing is virtual whiteboard.
Really?
Yeah, I join our work Teams or Zoom meetings and stuff, and just start presenting on it. Use it. There's a pretty good application I got on it for whiteboarding. It works.
Yeah, it's an application called Whiteboard, actually.
Well, there's their Microsoft Whiteboard, which really is horrible. I actually use a drawing application called Leonardo, but it's absolutely perfect for this.
And working on, they're starting to migrate us over to Teams. Except when they started deploying Teams, they didn't get the whole package. So there's a lot of features that don't work. So we do a lot of, I've got a lot of customers who are like, you know that Zoom thing? Yeah, we can't use it. Okay. I guess we'll go back to WebEx or try to use Skype or something.
Just have them use Discord.
What's that?
Just have them use Discord.
Yeah. Or, you know, even Slack doesn't really go well for that. All right. I have my treat for the evening. I am trying a no-name cake for the first time.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, we got our first mod pizza that opened up, and it's just down the street.
I love mods.
I ordered a salad and garlic bread, and 20 minutes after I ordered it was here.
You know, I always like to get the Caspian, add some ricotta cheese to it.
Oh, that sounds good.
Very good.
Okay, this is amazing. This is like maybe once every couple of weeks good. I mean, it's like, it could be 3 times a day good, but it's really going to be once every couple of weeks.
You know, it's actually, you need to space them out, because if you eat too many of those, then they lose their charm. Like, they're really good, but if you eat too many, then it's like, eh. So, don't do it.
It's just a big ding-dong. I mean...
I'm sorry.
It tastes really good.
That's a pretty funny sentence.
Hey, Josh, welcome back.
Hello.
Wow, how did you know he signed on? You must be watching Discord like a hawk.
There's like a fluke sound.
Mine made no sound. I must
weird.
have it turned off.
You cannot? All right, fine.
I literally just tightened the bolts on the new Core XY motors.
Oh, hey, awesome.
Although
Jeff, take a look at the last picture I posted in the live stream chat.
Okay, give me one sec.
Oh no. How big is this gonna be? I've been recording this to my computer.
Oh, is that a panel Duel? No, that's just an iPad.
No, the alignment clips.
They look good.
So they just snap on, and those didn't slide on from the end. They snapped on over the top.
Okay. Oh, is there a way to do just a one clip fits all?
What's that?
Is there a way to do like a one clip fits all?
I'm sorry.
Oh, is there a way to do like a one clip fits all?
Yeah, pretty much. So these, they're open on the bottom. Here, let me post a step file.
Yeah.
Of course, I have to open it up and convert it to a step file first.
It's all good.
I've moved back up to my desk. That's where I can see what's going on. I had to come up and get a drink.
Seems reasonable. I hear.
And then I was trapped in place for a while by large furry bodies.
That is okay.
Hey, you. Your food. You asked. Waiting for SolidWorks to load. All right. Export it as, wait for it to load. There we go. Probably have the orientation all wrong or something, but it works. Step AP 20, AP 214.
Meow.
What?
Oh, I said meow.
So what have you been up to, Josh? Just schoolwork?
Schoolwork in this diagram.
Oh, the wiring diagram still?
Which is about 90% of the way there. I just need to add wire gauges and the grounding wire. Oh. Yeah, like, holy crap, Adobe Illustrator lets you become a proper PDF pirate, I must say. Because you just like, oh, it's like, oh, here's this cute vector graphic in this PDF. I want it. And it's like, actually, I can just have it open the PDF and just like copy the lines I want out and then paste them into something else.
Yep.
That's crazy. I don't know, it's just so unfamiliar to me, but it's cool. It's not a bad thing.
So there's the step file.
Ah, great. Okay. I will take a look.
It's a pretty simple piece of, it's just a jig. So if you know anybody who wants an Ender 3 Pro, or I've got a line on some more of them at a pretty good price.
Oh, nice.
So they're about $100 a piece.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Assembled?
No, I mean, it's a kit. It's an Amazon return, so.
Oh, nice. That's a great deal.
Hey Josh, would you have any use for carbon fiber Jubilee crossbar?
I don't think I do because I still have a couple. Or I have one actually, but I'm good. You might be able to offer it up in the free parts channel. Not the free parts channel, the spare parts channel. I meant that. But not that late. I just didn't get enough sleep.
Yeah, I do want to undercut the guy who makes them, but I have, unless I'm building a second one, I really don't have any use for it. And if I am going to build the second one, I'm going to go ahead and go with the larger scale that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So bigger build volume.
Yeah.
So I have managed to lose a Juel on my desk.
Ah.
I have no idea how I did that. Now, granted, the desk is a bit of a mess at the moment. It's got I've been cleaning my office, so I've got down to just the little bits of stuff that need a home. But really? Ender 32. That's print. Ender 51. I just cleared a bunch of face shields off the bed plates too, so
Nice.
time to fire off the next batch.
I am not unfamiliar with the process.
Now, one of the things that would be nice if, and I've seen some people do this with GCode, but this is where I kind of want to go ahead and build my White Knight as well.
Oh, like a scraper option?
What's that?
Like a scraper option?
Well, the White Knight has a parts release.
Yeah.
As you come around the end of the belt. So you could just put it on continuous build, and it builds one, and then it starts doing the next, and then drops it in a bucket at the end.
Yep.
Which is kind of slick.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And
Carl is a really nice guy, but he's not an engineer. So he kind of just made it. Which is great. But also Creality just announced their own belt printer.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, the CR30.
Okay.
I haven't seen a price point for it yet, and we don't have a release date, but they've announced it. So, I mean, if they're building it based on, I don't know what they're building it based on. I haven't seen any pictures of it. I just heard about it.
Do you have the parts for the White Knight?
I do. I'm about between 80 and 90%. The big things I'm missing are the aluminum tubes for the end rollers and the belt and the build tack.
How much was that?
So that's about $500 worth of stuff right there.
Oh, wow.
Well, the belt is a stainless steel, no seam welded belt.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting shenanigan, I must say.
Have you ever noticed a phenomenon where you tighten one belt and the other one changes?
Yes, that's totally a thing. In fact, if you look closely, if you tighten one belt and loosen the other, well, if you just tighten one belt, it actually changes the angle of the crossbar. It pulls one closer to the back, and the other side stays the same. Which is why equal belt tension matters so much.
So, have you seen? I don't remember who makes it. There is there's an upgrade kit for your Ender 3 that turns it into a Core XY.
Oh, wow.
And they have a belt tensioning process, which is a belt tensioning jig, which is really pretty slick. So you end up moving the carriage to a particular corner, and you drop this jig on there, mount that drops onto the carriage, right? And the carriage, this jig has got I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's got a little notch in it, sort of protrusion. And you tighten the belt until that touches the front bar.
Oh, I got to take a look at that.
and then you flip the jig over or something, and then you tighten the belt until it pulls it parallel. So you're putting a specific amount of tension, and they know how far this is going to torque the frame or torque the carriage while they're tightening that first belt.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
With your support for the Z motors, what do you think the load would be that it can handle now? Any ideas?
I'm sorry, what?
With your support for the Z motor bearing motors,
Yeah.
any idea what the load would be that it can handle at that?
Oh, you could probably put 10 kilos on the. You could probably put 10 kilograms on the bed without any real issue.
So you could actually clamp something down on it for when you attack it with a Dremel.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing. What could I do with that?
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
When you run your tool heating auto tune, do you run it with the words? Do you run it with the print cooling fan on?
Print cooling fan. It shouldn't. You mean the part cooling fan?
Yeah.
Shouldn't make a difference. I'm guessing it does.
Definitely does in my case.
Is this a Hemera?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good to
so
see that the fan just blows.
when I'm in the dock, it creates enough of a vortex or something in there, and it cools it enough that it actually faults my heater probes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so now, and go ahead.
Oh, it's not something I've noticed yet because I haven't actually played with that tool.
I don't know, maybe it has something to do with the way I designed the wiper, but because I redesigned the wiper because I was having an issue that I probably wouldn't have now once I get the new docks in. But anyway, yeah, and then because the print cooling fan doesn't get turned off when it's
The part cooling or the hot end fan?
the part cooling, print cooler.
Yeah, the part cooler shouldn't be on except when.
No, it's on in the dock. And if you try to turn it off, nothing turns it back on. I can't find any settings in the slicer to turn the fan back on.
That is odd.
Yeah, so it just sits there on, and then whatever reflections of air in the dock ends up cooling it enough that I'm getting a heater faults.
Oof, that's bizarre. But I guess I could believe it.
You want to know another bizarre part of it?
Let's hear it.
Once it faults, it keeps trying to print.
Oh, that's also weird. That could be a setting thing, where you've allowed cold extrudes.
You know, I actually have the cold extrudes off, but that's another thing. I have the cold extrudes off, but yet it still will try to cold extrude. If I have let's say I'm picking up the tool without turning on the heater, it will still try to extrude even though it's at, 20 degrees.
And you're sure that
Yes.
you're sure that the tool change macros don't change your cold extrude setting?
I deliberately changed the cold extrude to make sure cold extrude can't cold extrude, and it does it anyway.
Okay.
I think it
that's
might
weird.
be a bug in
Duet 3.
Yeah, Duet 3 or the new release of firmware. I don't know. I haven't really brought this up on the forums or anything, but
It's possible. God damn it. 0.19 inches is not 5 millimeters. I'm just cursing. Seriously? Studs? Oh, damn.
Okay. I found the missing tray of screws.
Hey.
Still haven't found the jewels though.
where are these
but I've got
jewels
other
you're
ones.
talking about?
Now I've got a NeoPixel jewels, little 7-pixel rings or 7-pixel discs. I just had a couple of them out yesterday and I've misplaced them. Now granted, I also have apparently a pile of things on the floor behind my desk now. Thank you, Leon. Because gravity check. So anyway, next big steps. So Josh, I went ahead and got the, best I can tell, the alignment on is pretty good on those. I'm making actually another set, but they print up pretty nicely with just default print settings.
Cool. Oh, Eric, that looks great, by the way.
Thanks.
Oh, are you are streaming, aren't you?
Yeah, there's not really much happening on the camera right now.
Ooh, that's pretty. That's very pretty.
Oh. Oh, wow. The top and bottom alignment looks really good. Are they supposed to be butted up against each other? Or are they?
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
Well, the one on looking at the second picture, the one on the right looks pretty good. And from where I can see, the one on the left looks pretty good too.
Yeah, there's the one on the left, for some reason, the bottom layer. This is one of those weird anomalies I was going to tell you about, and then conversation sidetracked. For some reason, the first time it tries to use Tool 2, even though I told it to extrude a whole bunch of extra filament, it still seems to not want to. It still seems to not start spitting filament out when it's supposed to.
Oh, like the very, very, very first time?
Yeah, the very, very, very first time. And I even went into the tool change code, told it to spit out 20 millimeters just to make sure I got enough, and then it's switch it back down, and it still did it. I don't know what the hell is with that.
I don't know what this problem is either, but I have the same problem, which is why I always print not brim, but skirt. It's only the first layer. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
If you figure it out, let me know, because that has been plaguing me for a while, where it's like, damn, I need to print skirt. It's just fine, but it's just strange. It's inexplicable, where it's like, why is this happening?
The reason the one on the first picture, the one on the right, looks a little weird is for some reason I have a bit of a bulge. I think that's where it's coming in and printing for the first time. and I think there might be a little bit of drip there, and that's why it looks like it's kind of misaligned in that one frame. In reality, it's just a tiny, tiny little bulge, and it's just creating the optical illusion that the whole piece is a little off. But yeah, I think Daniel's program really succeeded here. I feel like when I did the two printed on top of each other.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good.
That's awesome. Oh, that is very cool. I will play with it eventually.
Do you like my little test print?
The L's?
Yeah, I just I kind of wanted to test like alignment of the two nozzles, so I just kind of designed something to kind of make that.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to have like two that kind of butted up, and then then right on top of each other, and then you can kind of see the XY alignment of the.
Yeah. Yeah, they look good, and the colors are beautiful. Oh, that red is really great, actually.
It's proto pasta, something.
I love proto pasta. Is it like carmine or something?
I'm trying to.
Or is it the special stuff?
Candy apple metallic red.
Okay. Oh man, I gotta get it. Oh, it's only $29.99. I guess it's like half a. It's not.
Yeah, that's only. Yeah, that's not very
Only
much.
500. Oh man. Oh, but it's so beautiful.
Well, you're right there. You could just go get some.
I mean, that's a drive.
I've
done it before, but yeah.
It was the closest PLA I could find to match the PET G.
It looks really good.
Hard to match colors sometimes. All right, so I gave up looking for the one I was missing. I went and grabbed another one out of that.
And then you found the first one?
No, I haven't, but.
Well, that's what happens to me.
Usually that's what happens. I also remembered that when I went looking, I found the roll of dot stars that I got. So I got a bunch of dot stars as well. And I have some micro neopixels. And when I say I've got these are like. Yeah, these are the tiny little neopixels, and they're surface mount, so not a strip. I mean, it's on a strip, but it's part of a spool. So, and then I've got the micro ones, and the micro ones are like.
And wish I would have had these LDO steppers from the beginning, then I wouldn't have had to put an extra connector in here. Now it's just kind of funny. It goes from connector to connector.
Oh.
Because I didn't feel like replacing the entire cable.
Could you just match up the connector so that little section of cable just doesn't go there? Or?
The KK connector is also really easy to remove and stick onto another one.
Well, I don't feel like running a longer cable. It'd be really annoying to rerun that underneath the 6HC board. I'd have to unplug everything, pop the board off, and it'd be a long process. That it was just simpler to make a little 4-inch patch cable. Hopefully that won't somehow cause an issue in the future. I don't see why it would, but.
So I got the neopixels working on the SKR boards that I've got, and one of the neat things that Marlin can do with the NeoPixels is you can get printer status from the colors.
Oh, that's cute.
So you can, as it's printing, it can shifts colors and things like that. So, and then you can set one of the pixels for a general background, or a general lighting. But what I was going to do is just make with this little jewel, which is just 6 around 1, is just set it as an indicator on the printer. Have it on the top. And I can kind of use that to just, at a glance, I can see what's going on, where it is in the print cycle. So.
Yeah.
And it's a little rainbow thing. So there you go. All right. Well, there's that. There's those. Yeah. So yeah, my next step in the assembly procedure is
check this out.
putting together the rest of the tool lock. Oh, and Eric, I don't remember. Did you run your switch leads, the micro switch leads, through the same sheet that you ran the spring guide through?
No.
Are they in a separate nylon?
I don't like running a whole bunch of stuff through the same sleeve because I did that on the big box, and unless you have a big bundle of wires, since it's only a couple wires. Oh wait a minute. Are you talking about both springs, or are you talking about the springs and the limit switches?
Okay, so from the carriage.
Well, here, I'll just take a picture of what I got. How's that sound?
Okay.
I have the wires separate from the spring guide.
That's kind of what I thought. I just wanted to check and see what other people were doing. I was planning on running the.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
Oh, that was
yeah.
interesting.
You should be fine. I don't think abrasion-wise you're going to have a problem.
I have no idea why that's blurry, but there you go.
More or less did a similar thing where it just
okay, yeah. Yep.
Check this out.
That's kind of blurry.
Yeah.
It's separate.
Can you see what you wanted to see though? I can retake the picture if you want.
I can see it. Yeah, you're running two sets of which is what I was planning on doing, but I just wanted to check. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do, we'll see how it works out, but what I think I was going to do is relax some of the constraint at the upper part of the Z. Where that the guide lead is, or the guide plastic part.
Okay.
At the top of the Z screw. So are you currently building another Jubilee, or?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I currently am going to, as soon as Mandala Roseworks gets the parts in, I will quickly disassemble what I've got, pop in the new stuff, send them the okay, and then that should be it. But I have two. One is functioning right now, one is for chemistry.
Okay. What was the goal? 2.0?
I'm posting another picture, but so on the wall that's just by itself, it's 1.94, and with the stacked on top of each other, that's 1.957. So it's like within a couple. Like basically, I measured the seam where the two pieces of plastic met. And if it was off, then I would be significantly different than the wall, where there was only a single filament. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's less than I think that's pretty close to a step distance, isn't it?
It's pretty good. The other way, it's a little bit worse. It's 1.98. Apparently, I
Okay.
must be under extruding a little bit on my settings, but I kind of knew that anyway.
I mean, what is the step distance?
I
on the
don't know.
XY?
I would.
It's either 100 or 200 steps per millimeter.
Okay. 200 steps per millimeter, or
Yeah, it depends on your microstep factor, but it's probably 100 or 200.
okay.
Whoa.
16?
Yeah. And 1.8 versus 0.9.
Well, 0.9 is what I've got. So, all right.
I did.
Oh, just curious, Eric, are you using genuine Gates belts? No, right?
No, they're Gates belts. I don't have the
Okay.
Gates pulleys on there yet. No.
Okay. I don't know anyone who's done this yet. Actually, wait, no. Does
I have the pulleys. I just was waiting for the aluminum plates first.
Gotcha. Does H2B run Gates pulleys?
I think he does, but
He
he's
does-
also running 9mm belts.
9mm, yeah. I was wondering how fast he pushes the machine around, because I have a suspicion that if you put the Gates pulleys on, you'll get a little bit less friction, and you'll be able to go a little faster.
Because the Gates pulleys are.
They're nicer.
What's that?
They're nicer.
Well, they're also like 12 times the price or something.
Yep.
I don't know about 12.
That sounds like a chew toy.
It is a little yellow rubber ducky,
Okay.
which is a favorite toy of the big orange beast.
Oh.
But I get a new one every couple of days, so there you go. All right, maybe not every couple of days, but every time I get something from Big Tree Tech, I get a rubber ducky.
Oh, that's cute. Didn't realize they did that.
Yeah, they put them in the boxes.
Oh.
While we're sitting here, I am going through the pile of debris on my desk, collecting all the screws and whatnot that have become isolated or attached to said magnet. So I got all those little aluminum standoffs from McMaster Carr, and then I printed a plate.
Wait, what happened?
So remember I ordered all those aluminum standoffs, little short aluminum standoffs from McMaster Carr,
Okay.
and then they were too short, and I ended up printing a plate.
Okay.
That's okay. I've already found a use for them. When I upgrade, one of the things I do when I build out the Ender 5s is I take I move the power box from the bottom to the back. That was interesting. So I take the control box off the bottom of the Ender 5 and I mount it on the back. But for whatever reason, when I added the BL Touch, I have to use a pin 27 board. The cover doesn't go back on right, and where I run the cabling, I have to reroute the cables. and the X stepper and the X stepper lead has to come out of the far side of the box, and the cable's not long enough. So I just put a standoff underneath the cover plate at the corners, so there's a little 3 millimeter gap that I run the leads out.
Gotcha.
It's enough you're not sticking your fingers in there, but it's big enough that you can get the wires out. And it offsets the fan a little bit, so there's more room for air to blow out. So anyway, that's a thing. Hey, my PET G parts are done. So at this point, I've got one machine dedicated to PET G. That's all it does.
That seems like a reasonable way to do it.
Yeah, for the longest time, I also had machines that were color-coded by the filament that ran in them. So if it was orange, it came off of one machine. If it was yellow, it came off another machine. If it was black, it came off another machine. I know, it's kind of ridiculous. Okay, pulleys.
Something is wrong.
Uh-oh, what's wrong?
I don't know. The stepper motor that would be on the right if you're looking at the front of the machine is not working properly. I'm not sure. I got to figure out what I did wrong.
Wire?
Yeah, I think it was suggested that there was a phase that wasn't right.
So how is everybody, or is anybody, thinking about filament runout on the Jubilee?
I have a couple different filament runout sensors.
Well, I've never found any I like, but I haven't
Really?
actually put too much effort into it.
I mean, just using, it's pretty easy to get away with just using an old, limit switch. There's a bunch of different models that are pretty straightforward for doing that. The other ones that, the one that Luke designed works pretty well too.
Okay.
And it's got no springs or anything like that in it that hold it. It's using it's using an optical isolator or an optical switch and a ball and a magnet. So
yeah, that sounds like the Prusa.
Yeah, well, the Prusa, I thought the Prusa was using like a Pendaprobe kind of thing.
They do, but the principle.
Well, in Luke's design, he's using an optical isolator or an optical switch, right? And he's got a couple of magnets, two magnets with the same pole facing each other that are holding and a lever on, right? And so as the filament runs through, it just offsets the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And it pushes the ball pushes the lever arm interrupts the optical switch. And at the far end of the lever arm, on the other end of the on the other side of the optical switch, are two magnets with opposing poles, or two that are in the frame. So one's in the lever arm, one's in the frame. So it's not using a spring or anything. It's using magnetic force to keep. If the filament goes away, then the magnets push the bit parts apart.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
it opens up.
I need to stare at that. I have to dig it up.
Yeah. They're not very expensive. I think he's selling them for about $15.
I think there might be something wrong with the stepper motor.
Uh-oh. Do you have an extra control board laying about?
Not really.
Okay. Filament spool holder.
Oh, there they are again. It's Werner.
What's that?
Werner like joins almost. Like it's so strange. It's like this person named Werner joins every like couple of days. Like in the general chat, if you scroll up, it'll say like, "Hey, it's Werner, it's Werner, it's Werner," and they're all like different IDs. So I'm like, "Huh, I wonder who it is." But I've noticed it. I haven't said anything about it. I've just noticed it for a while. If you just do a search in the general chat for Werner, and they're all messages about them joining. It's pretty great.
Okay then. All right. It's very strange.
It's quite strange.
And it sounds like you find it amusing.
I mean, nothing bad has happened.
Well, it's like Tom in YouTube.
Tom?
Who is Tom?
I don't know.
Pretty much as I scroll through a bunch of different YouTube comments.
Oh,
you'll
spam
see
bot.
Tom, who's like,
Where
"Hey, great video."
Yeah,
They're encouraging Tom.
there's a few different people that do that, and what they're trying to do is get you to go and subscribe to their page. And I don't know exactly what that does for them, but yeah, like I run into this early on the Jubilee videos, so I started banning people who.
People named Tom?
People,
No.
if your name is Tom, you're banned.
No, there's a bunch of them. Like there's one, I forget what it's called, but yeah, there's a bunch of these people, and what you do is you go to their page, and then they'll have like 30,000 subscribers or something, and you're like, huh, and then you'll go look at their videos, like go into the actual videos they posted, and you'll find out that they haven't posted any videos at all, but yet they have 30,000 subscribers. And I don't know how, I don't know how this works exactly, but yeah, they have some sort of bot that runs around, comments on people follow them because they don't know any better, and then
follow individuals from chats.
Yeah, so
Okay.
a lot of new YouTubers will be like, oh wow, this person with 30,000 subscribers says that my stuff is cool. Maybe they'll feature me on their channel if I subscribe to their channel. So you subscribe, and then it somehow does something, and when you subscribe, and it opens up their ability to somehow use that information in some nefarious purpose. I don't know. You can go read about it. But it's a thing.
There's literature about Tom.
Well, it's not specifically about Tom. The one that I was first introduced was like some sort of music channel. It was like, I don't know, it was like this fake music channel, and I did an internet search on them, and then I found out like this whole scheme thing that was going on. You know, something just seemed suspicious to me when I did it. I'm like, but at first I was kind of like, oh, cool, you know, this music channel, which I'm assuming was just like some dude surfing their YouTube. But anyway, yeah, it's a thing.
It's a nefarious scheme.
It is.
It's a strange scheme.
if you look it up, somebody out there explains what they're trying to do and why they're doing it, but I don't remember the specific reasons anymore.
Well, it does strike me as nefarious.
Yeah, basically it's some way to generate a whole bunch of YouTube hits without actually doing any content. And then they can kind of direct people. It's not, from what I remember reading, it's not like it's really doing too much horrible things. It's basically just generating a whole bunch of fake traffic, essentially, in some way or another, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, anytime anybody comments on my stuff in a complimentary fashion, I basically, I'll go to the thing, look and see if they have any videos. If they don't, then I ban them from my commenting on my videos.
I'll just have to say terrible things about you then.
No, people like that though. Like I'm aware to watch them.
Yeah, it's like money for nothing and your chicks for free.
I've not heard that expression before.
What's that?
I've not heard that expression before.
Yeah. Old music reference.
Ah.
Like actually, I think it's actually from the first MTV music video.
Radio killed the.
Oh no,
video
not
killed
that
the
one.
radio
I'm
star.
sorry, not the first one. First computer generated one, I think. I remember seeing Take On Me on its initial release. Too bad MTV doesn't actually play music anymore. Is MTV still around, or are they gone?
MTV?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still around, but they have multiple channels now, and they do have a music channel still. I've never really watched music videos, so it's not something I ever cared about, but they do exist. But no, MTV has a ton of shows.
Yeah, like important ones like Jersey Shore.
Well, they got a lot of stupid ones, but I actually really do like Ridiculousness.
Which one?
Ridiculousness.
Ah.
It's kind of like Funniest Home Videos, sort of, except people are usually getting hurt.
Oh, well, all right.
No, I mean it's more like, you know, people doing stupid stuff, and so they'll find them on YouTube and make clips out of them, or not necessarily stupid stuff. Like sometimes they do like winning videos where people like make a crazy basketball shot or something, or you know, and they basically do categories, and they get a whole bunch of clips from that category from YouTube, and play them with commentary. Doesn't really sound that interesting, but it's actually quite entertaining.
Sure. I need to still working on the slicer settings for the under 5 because I got a fair benchy, but it's definitely got I've got theme problems. I've got to work on the settings for the theme.
My themes could be slightly better, but I'm mostly happy with them at this point. All right, so it might not be a stepper motor problem. It looks like I swapped the wires and the phases somehow.
Okay, that'll do it.
Yeah, I don't know
Any
how
questions on the alignment tool, Josh? Did you get a chance to look at it?
I haven't opened the step file just yet. I am putting the last finishing touches on the bad diagram.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I'm not trying to rush you. I just, since you've got me here, but I'm getting ready to sign off.
Fair. Let's check it out right now.
And I don't know if it's going to be useful for anybody else to use, but give it a shot.
Stream chat. A step file. Straight from the internet. Downloads. Oh, it's cool. Oh, it really does clip on there. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's got enough flex that you can pop them off. It does take a bit to work them down onto it, but yeah.
Okay, buddy. My SolidWorks is freezing. 1 sec. What's going on? Oh. Wow, it's very unhappy with me.
Huh?
My SolidWorks is really being sluggish, but I'm sure it'll give it a sec.
Oh, yeah, SolidWorks is always a pain. It's like, I'm going to start. Just kidding.
So do you slide them on or do you clip them on?
Yes, both.
Okay, I'm just curious. Wow, I'm impressed that they have that much flex. But I guess if you print it vertically in that direction, that would make sense.
No, they're printed horizontally. They're
I
printed
meant that.
flat on the back.
Yeah, printed as is.
Well, no. So you have to rotate them flat. So that you see the one edge is chamfered and the other one is not.
Ah, yes. Oh, it's like, oh, okay. So you're printing them. Let me think about this for a second. Small face down, like center face down.
Yeah, just flat.
Like a U.
Yeah, you're printing them so like a U. And then the chamfered edge is up.
Hey, hey, Josh, off the top of your head, do you remember what the current setting is supposed to be for these motors?
The what setting?
Current? And
anything less than 2 amps. These are the beefy ones, right?
yeah.
The NEMA Max? Yeah, anything less than 2 amps.
Right, because I kind of hear them after I do a stepper move. Like I hear kind of like a, I don't know, it's just some sort of very small sound.
So I've been using the nano coating, the nano glue for PETG.
Oh, okay.
And the bed has just hit the transition temperature after printing a big job. So the parts are crackling, and so they're going through a crackle phase, and one literally just popped off the bed.
That's cool.
And it's, I'm doing initial layer at 25 millimeters a second. And they're perfectly flat.
Hey Josh, after you do a move with the stepper and with these steppers, put your ear next to the stepper. Do you hear anything at all?
After I come again?
So you do a move so that the steppers are, holding position, right? And then if you put your ear up next to it, I'm just curious if you hear any noise at all.
Oh, sometimes I do. It depends on where you leave it off. Sometimes you'll hear like a really quiet, not quite like a hiss, but
yeah, it's kind of like a static sound almost, like just really quiet.
Yeah, that's because it has to do with where it's in the microstepping, where it is in like the phase, the sinusoid, I suppose. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah, it's when you're holding current. It has to do with your holding current and where you are in the microstep phase. Marlin just added something. It's in beta right now, but they just added it to their TMC drivers. They're doing full square, straight up square waves now for the step pulses. So they're generating squares instead of sinusoidal.
Yeah, I just didn't remember hearing anything from the stepper motor the other stepper motor's holding position, so I didn't know if I had a problem or what.
Oh, I see what I did. I was like, why does SolidWorks suddenly hate me? It's because I tried to open the wiring diagram in it, and what am I doing? Okay.
Okay.
That was weird. Let's not do that again. How did I click on that? Okay, that's all right. Get me out of here.
Apparently something with the LDO motors is swapped compared to the stepper on line motors, because I wired up to the exact same color code, and the direction swapped.
I took the LDO motors and plugged the cables that I saw straight in with no changes, and it was fine. But I'm pretty sure that they are actually different from the stepper online ones.
Yeah, for me, I had to swap the direction of the two motors. They're both backwards.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Well, actually, they're both correct, but that's the stepper online ones ended up being backwards.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, at least
So
the
yeah,
way
they just print flat, and because of that, you're flexing along the shape, not across the grain or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And so they've got just enough flex to actually kind of go over them, and they were really tight when you slide them down. If you are sliding them down, make sure that you're using the chamfer side first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, Josh, quick question. I don't know if this gets output or not in the older version of the firmware, but do you get a here, let me just throw it up.
Are you on the live stream?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna just throw it into Discord. So I get a message like this.
Oh yeah, I get that.
All right, I was just curious what your numbers look like if you were to do like two Z homes in a row.
They're usually pretty small. Like, I mean, these numbers look reasonable. And that's probably just rounding error. 0.02 millimeters. That is like the limit of what Mutoyo calipers can measure.
Yep.
I wasn't really worried about it. I was just curious.
I think I pretty much always get none. I think it's just noise.
Yeah. Do the duets support the M48 GCode?
I don't know.
That's your Z-probe accuracy test, where it probes 10 or 12 times and then
yeah,
figures
probably
out what the standard deviation is on the probing.
Yeah, I think it does.